Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Tea with Taylor. Thank you for joining me here. Today, we have a very special episode of the Tea with two very special guests, and we're talking about coming out stories. As you know, we're probably going to get into the nitty gritty of a lot of other things. Oh no, we're not doing nitty gritty anymore. I forgot. It sounded just terrible. I just remembered. No, we're not doing that. So, erase that. Edit, edit, edit. No, we're gonna get into it all. Get into the thing. And I'm really excited to have these two special guests. Don't want to say completely separate, but I did want to have a contrast in, the generation that we're reaching with these two guests today, and I think that you'll enjoy it. Of course, I'm going to start with some hot topics. Oh, and let me find us on Facebook because I want to make sure to be keeping up with your comments as per usual. And check us out, make sure we're looking good because it's very important. I don't know if you got that, but yeah, super important. And I think I see. No, no, no. I hope that the guests were able to find this quicker than I was because this is just that at this point. All right. So we have a lot to talk about. There has been a lot going on this week within Hot Topics, within this lovely, lovely place that we live. And I picked out a few things that stood out to me, especially, of course, we have this storm Elsa, because we love to talk about the news here and the weather here in New England nonstop. So that's the first thing we're going to get it right out of the way. Storm Elsa is moving along the coast. We are seeing some side effects of that today. Getting a little bit of a rainstorm this morning. I don't know if you guys heard, but it was pretty intense coming in and out. But other than that, we haven't really experienced a lot of side effects from that. Certain other regions and areas of the world are having some kind of hardships with this storm already, and it's not even to its full extent. I believe it reached the Carolinas, and they're suffering there infrastructural wise because of certain things, and I believe even a few down trees and power systems, and two to three, four or five deaths, something along those lines already. And places and New York City is actually flooding. The subway lines have been flooding, and if you know New York, on the subway lines when it's raining on a regular day, you see it come through the grate. It's coming down. It's raining. You know it's raining. It's not totally dry in the subway, but I've seen images of people walking through muddy, gross water, like waist high, in multiple different subway stations. So yikes. Uh, Good luck in New York with dealing with all that. So sorry. I wish and pray that we had a subway system here, but I'm glad we don't when these kinds of infrastructural problems show up. So yeah, we're expecting a few more heavy storm symptoms or byproducts of a heavy storm, but probably won't reach us. So when you talk to me about the news for the next week or so and the weather, I should say, this is going to be my answer. So you had it, you heard it here first. Um, we're going to talk about this in more detail later on Tea with Taylor, but we're going to talk about sports as a business. But there's been a lot going on in the sports world. I know a lot of us queers don't follow up with sports, and trust me, I am not the biggest one to follow up with sports. I played sports in high school, but it was only interesting then. And now I follow a few things here and there that I like, and the rest of it is just white noise. But with a lot of things happening right now, especially impacting the LGBTQI community in sports, I've been kind of keeping an eye out. And one really big thing right now is the 2021 Olympics, which has inevitably been delayed yet again because Japan, where the Olympics is supposed to be hosted, is declaring a state of emergency. They're declaring a state of emergency because of an increase in rising cases of COVID-19. So as we talked about before, it is still happening. It is still a problem in our neighboring areas, and even in regions outside of our region. It's still happening. It is getting better here because we have more access to vaccines and certain things like that. But around us, it is still happening and even getting worse in some areas like Japan. So the Olympics is scheduled for July 23rd to August 8th. And the biggest thing for me right now with the Olympics was how dare they eliminate Shakari Richardson. I am over it. I just like, I can't. I saw something that encapsulates my entire thought in a meme. So I'm going to say that to save us some time because I got a lot to say about it. Girl's hair, just, I could talk about that for a while. The wigs were just on point. And then I saw the afro underneath the wig, on point. Beautiful queer woman. But anywho, I saw a meme that encapsulates everything that I think about this situation, and that is weed doesn't stop you from running fast. And if you can run fast and smoke weed, you should get 2 awards. I'm gonna leave it at that. That's how I feel about it. It's just it's crazy. So give that girl her props. Hopefully next year, Shakari, you come back and you crush it and make them regret everything. Yeah. So we shall see. Another little fun little tidbit that I saw in the news, and I'm gonna have to get Irina Devereaux's opinion on this later. Russia and France are locked in what they're calling a champagne war. Can you actually believe that? So someone raised, I'm not sure who raised the question first about the quality of the product that Russia is getting from France as far as their champagne. And their champagne is coming from the brand Moet, which is the maker of Hennessy. And so they decided to tell them in France that all of their shipments to Russia have to be marked as sparkling wine. And of course, in true fashion, France and Europe took that as a like, oh, how very dare you, sparkling wine, this is champagne, I won't do it. And so they're in a standoff, and I think it's hilarious. It's just adults throwing a tantrum about champagne. Great. But Putin put his foot down on July 2nd, apparently, telling Moet, either you put or Moet, sorry, either you put sparkling wine on the bottles or we're not accepting it or not paying for it. And I'm sure he has the shipment already that he's just probably not going to pay for. So there's that. Yeah, believe it or not, it's happening out. On a not so light topic, we have but we have someone addressing a big issue that I think needs to be addressed a little bit more, which is Governor Andrew Cuomo is actually also declaring a state of emergency. That's 2 state of emergencies in like 5 minutes. So this is the world we live in, unfortunately, but also declaring a state of emergency, referring to gun violence, having a meeting in New York City to lay out his plan for, eradicating gun violence, because we have had a rise in mass shootings. Unfortunately, especially just this year alone, there's been more than 325 mass shootings, and that's in the U.S. And that's just this year. So far this year, 350 have been left dead and 1,400 people injured. So it is a huge problem. And even without those numbers, it's like, we can't continue this hateful act, and there has to be some regulation attached to, guns. And it's just that simple. You can argue my free right to have a gun. You can argue that all guns need to be gone, but let's just find a happy medium so that we are not killing each other. Come together and figure out where we can be in that medium ground, because it's not the guns killing people, it's people killing people. We've heard this how many times now? I said this before and I'm going to say it again. There's no room in this world for people who would rather hold guns than hold hands. Call me a hippie, whatever. Just go hold somebody's hand, give somebody a hug, have some compassion, put the gun down, Lord. I know I'm getting old because I'm starting to sound like my parents. But yeah, hopefully we follow suit with what Governor Andrew Cuomo is doing in New York. And we can make some change with that because it is something that's really important and is impacting a lot of different communities in a lot of different ways. Um, Also, we talked about this man last week, and I don't want to keep talking about him, but the media keeps talking about him, and it's driving me crazy. And at this point, you probably already know who I'm talking about. Former social media influencer, Mr. Trump. God, he is back at it again. I've seen his face all morning on the television, and I'm like, please stop showing his face. But he is filing a class action lawsuit against Facebook, Twitter, and Google for censorship of free speech and a free speech violation. And I just can't deal. I just can't deal. I can't even take him seriously. I just really don't. I don't get it because these are the places that shadow banned him previously in the last year. Moving on. Put it in the comments if you have something to say about it. But I just needed someone else to hear this ridiculousness. It's like, is this a game show for him? I just think this is just another reality show. Someone didn't tell him this is real. Can't deal. Um, Another really pleasant thing that I wanted to share with you all and get your opinions. Of course, I need to hear from my special guest about this one later. I have the privilege, because I'm a huge Disney kid at heart, to watch Luca this week. And that is the new Disney movie. It is, I believe, went straight to Disney Plus. I'm not sure. I don't think it was in the theaters because I don't pay that close attention, but I'm pretty sure it went straight to Disney Plus. And if you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I can't give you too much of the plot, but yeah, it's one of the newest movies, and I thought it was actually very, very well done, very cute. It's set in Italy. Really smart animated movie, like Disney usually does. But there was some chitter chatter amongst the people who have seen it, saying that it was supposedly supposed to be the first queer Disney movie and didn't go that route. Um, I feel, and I've said it before, that we should have a lot more queer media and a lot more things being clearly represented in animated series and movies, shows, everything, down to the people of color being more represented as well, because we didn't see a lot of that. We don't see a lot of that. And it would help kids growing up in the next generation to understand and to realize it is what's happening in the world. So it's not just something that's thrown at them. So I do think that we need more representation along those lines. And after watching Luca, I do think it was a huge missed opportunity on Disney's hand. It was some innuendos. I think I'm gonna ask my guests later about this, but there were some innuendos. If you ask me, it just kind of strikes me as the whole SpongeBob and Patrick argument again of like, what are their true relationships? Like, I don't know. It seems a little queer. We're just maybe gasping at straws here, but I don't know. It seems like the movie itself was actually a coming out story in essence. So I don't know. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about it. And actually, the voice actor from the show, what was his name? Uh, Jack Dylan from Luca, who voiced one of the boys in the movie, actually came out as bisexual very soon after the release of the show as well. So you know that this conversation happened in the meeting room for Luca, and it was, like, so I think it's funny. And one of the lines from the movie was the way he came out. He, was speaking to a reporter, and he said, "Yeah, I'm bi," and then he said, "Silencio, Bruno." And it's really cute if you've seen the movie because that's one of the catchphrases. So I thought it was really cute the way he came out, and congrats to him for having the courage to come out. Um, One last thing that's actually really, really important that I share with you all because it's very important that we get a perspective on our world and what's happening around us and not just what we see and what affects us. Haiti, unfortunately, I know we've probably heard about it, probably been seeing it across the news and across the TV for a little bit, but Haiti is in an uproar. There is a power struggle happening and a forced election happening right now because the president of Haiti was actually assassinated. And it's been, I want to say 20, 30 years since we've heard of a president getting assassinated, something along those lines. And not just assassinated, but brutally assassinated. Shot, I want to say 17 times by 28 foreign mercenaries. I don't want to get too gory, but it seemed like torture. His eyes were gorged out, and his wife got caught in the crossfire, but she's right now in ICU. And that leaves Haiti, which is one of the poorest nations in this world, in a huge, huge power struggle. And they have two prime ministers stepping up to take power, but that prime minister that is stepping up, I believe, was not fully instated in his position just yet. So it is already a war-torn place, so to speak, and very poverty-stricken. So we can see the change in the way their economy is set up very easily and very quickly. The scales can tip in this situation, and it's very scary to hear when something like that happens to an elected official. So our prayers are sending to Haiti, sending good vibes to Haiti, hoping that this forced election, so to speak, goes over well for them. And I believe there were a few of the people, 17 of the 28 people were arrested in response to that murder. So, I just want to make sure that everyone realizes that things are not as well as we have it here in America and the US. And even though we don't have it that great here either, don't get me wrong, but it is not as peachy keen in other places around the world. So it's important that we make sure to acknowledge these kinds of things. And lastly, leaving you with something a little bit lighter. Happy birthday, Tom Hanks. You turned 65 today. What? Shoot. I mean, like Forrest Gump is 65, y'all. Come on. What is happening? I can't even understand. Oh boy, oh boy. Jaden is going off in the comments. Thank you, Jaden, for watching. I'm so glad to see that you're watching. Make sure you share. And I'm gonna give you a minute I'm gonna read all your comments, I promise. But give me 1 minute because I think it is time now to bring in my first guest, Stephen McGuire. Oh, you may also known as Irina Devereaux. I'm gonna ask you to join me. Hello.
Hello.
Hey there.
How are you?
How are you doing?
Doing all right. It's been a long day.
Uh-huh. Oh God, yes. Tell me about it. I have this awful, awful obsession with the Ego Girls, and so I ended up going out last night to see them. And yeah, I told myself, when you go out and you always tell yourself, I'm gonna be home at this time. I'm only gonna have this many drinks. I did that, and it just doesn't ever happen.
One drink is one long drink.
Yeah. That's why I need my chalice that we were talking about earlier. But I'm really glad to have you. Why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
All right. So I'm Stephen McGuire. I am also the Empress 29, or current Empress of the Imperial Court of Rhode Island at Providence. We are a 501c3 organization that is built on supporting other 501c3s in our community. We do try to stress to the LGBTQIA, but we also do support non-LGBTQ organizations as well. And we're a group of performers and non-performers that do these fundraisers, events, and also volunteer out in the community.
Yep. I got
that elevator down now.
No, I've had the privilege of seeing these things firsthand and being a part of even somewhat. And I really am, I applaud you for all that you do, the Imperial Court as well. Really happy to see people so active. And you were one of the first people, I will give you this credit before it gets too late in the show. You were one of the first people to have a new stance on the role that you're playing in the Imperial Court, and even going as far as to reach out to new people like myself, about getting people's voices heard, about making change where change needs to be made. So I applaud you for that. I'm going to give you that credit.
So the Imperial Court, we're an apolitical establishment or an apolitical 501c3. So I mean, I don't really wage into the political wars of everything publicly because of that. But obviously, like, human rights are not political. That's not a political thing. A human right is a human right.
Right.
So I mean, I'm always here to support, and biggest thing for me is our community of Rhode Island. It's where I was born. It was where I was raised. My
Yeah.
entire so.
And if you for me, in my opinion, if you have a position or if you have a soapbox, so to speak, on, and you have somewhat of a voice, I think it's an obligation at some point in your life to give back to the community. Not only for your own well-being, but for everyone else's, because that's how we all win.
Well, I
So
mean, part of
I
it is
really
being a drag queen. I think being a drag queen is part of my duties, and part of my responsibilities as being a drag queen is lifting people's voices up, especially being Empress right now, and making other voices known that may not be known as well. And it's important that as a drag queen that we do give back to our community, because the community is what gives us what we do.
Absolutely. So, speaking of community, how about let's get to it? I would love to hear, how was your coming out experience? How did that all unfold for you? Give us the timeline, darling.
As we reel back the time frame.
Come on.
Before when I came out, there was no Grindr, there was no Scruff, there was no Boy Ahoy, there was none of these apps. I mean, you're lucky if we had cell phones, and they
oh God
worked half the time.
God, you're giving away your age.
I mean, I'm going to be 38, so I mean, I'm getting up there in age, but so I came out. When I came out, I was back in the time frame of AOL, Rhode Island Mail for Mail rooms, and chat lines.
Oh God.
So my coming out story is kind of, I guess I would say, normal, but maybe not, maybe kind of interesting. I was caught on the phone by my parents talking to another person.
Uh-oh. The corded phone.
And yep, you know how it is. Like, I had my phone in my room, but there was other phones around the house, and somebody picked up the phone, even though it was late at night. They picked up the phone and overheard my conversation that we were having, and next thing you know, it became one thing and another thing. I would say one of the things, I mean, I discussed even with actually, at the time I had a counselor at school that I talked to about it. I was worried about, what did I do wrong? It was actually a similar story than what actually Dion said the other day when we were there. And I looked at her, and my counselor actually told me, she's like, you probably said the most grown-up thing there is, which is, you taught me exactly what you were supposed to teach me, which was how to love another person, whether it was a man or a woman or a non-binary or whatever it may be. You just taught me how to love another person.
Absolutely. How old were you when this happened?
I was 14.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I was a freshman in high school. My parents got into a little bit of denial of that I was bi.
Okay.
And not gay. But my father had some harsh words. My father, I mean, I also come from a part Mormon family.
Oh goodness. That is a struggle. Goodness. I can relate, so to speak, growing up in a Christian family, and gay being looked at as something as wrong for the most part.
I will say it was Eastern. It's Eastern side Mormon, so it's not the Salt Lake City Mormon.
Yeah.
But it was
Mormon, that's a big deal.
There was some harsh words said. I actually ended up moving out with who I consider my guardian angel, which is my sister, my oldest sister, Melinda. And I moved in with her for probably about 6 months at one point, just because of how bad it was. But I will say sports, for me, is what changed a lot of it.
Okay.
Back in 2000.
as you said, reeling back time a little bit. In that time, it must have felt a little bit more like ostracized too, because it was less spoken about, I think.
Yeah, and I'll say like I did look out. I mean, I didn't have the experiences I know some do have, which is they come out and their parents tell them get out of the house. Get
Mm.
out. So I mean I never had that. Um, you know, my parents always told me like regardless, I may not accept what you or agree with what your choice is, but you know I still love you. You're still my son.
Sometimes that's the best that you can hope for, you know, when
Yeah.
we want their acceptance, we don't need their acceptance. That's, you know, as far as they're willing to push, you know, that relationship or that barrier, then you don't push, you just let it go. And that's just how it goes a lot of times. And that's
And
really interesting to hear because we don't hear that a lot. A lot of people are like either like it's like one extreme where they're like get out, or it's like, oh my god, I love you, like ponies and rainbows. Uh, so it's funny to hear that somewhat kind of in between tone
yeah,
that a lot of
mean,
people deal with.
and eventually, you know, I mean, though my father took it really rough coming out of the gate. I mean, though I'm not his only son, I'm his only son from his current marriage. Um, so, and I'm my mother's only son. So, I mean,
Mm.
of course, you know, you're not carrying on the family name or, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I kind of, with playing, you know, playing with sports with the Renaissance City Softball League and my father, my parents coming out to the games, my father's really
Yeah.
come out to where it's way more accepting now.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm happy with how much progress we've made with that kind of a thing. As far as a community, as far as people as a whole, as far as the world globally. Really quickly before I let you go, I also wanted to ask you, you know, so you had that coming out situation in that time period. Was it also hard? Did it also feel like coming out again when you started doing drag?
So it was obviously kind of odd again. It is. It's kind of like almost a second coming out. Like 4 years ago, I mean, we did this fundraiser, and my mom was like, "Oh, it's just a fundraiser," and then lo and behold, then I started doing a drag career with it. And I call it a career, but I mean, so I'm only a charity drag queen. I only do drag for charity. I don't do paid bookings. That's just
Oh,
not.
I did
Um,
not.
yeah, no, I don't. So yeah, I don't do any paid bookings at all. I only do charity drag, and so it's different. Obviously, when my mom saw me, she was kind of like, "Oh, okay." I don't know how exactly my father feels about it yet. Because me and him haven't actually had that full conversation about it.
Okay.
It's kind of like an unspoken thing.
Okay. I like I said, there's a lot of us dealing with that in between zone, and I think it's really interesting that aspect of okay, I'm queer, but then also I'm a female impersonator, and then a lot of people will somewhat, you know, mentally draw the line at that point and kind of not accept that part of the person. So that's why I ask because that's what I hear a lot. And it's like
But
if you accept my queerness, then you should accept the path that I take with my queerness.
I mean, Irina's a different person. I mean, I even separate her. Even you know, Irina's her own person. She gets birthday gifts. She gets Christmas gifts. Um, so she gets splurged on quite a bit.
I want to go to that bitch's birthday party. Excuse me. I've seen them jewels
so,
be dripping in.
I mean, I even try to like. I mean, she has her own bedroom.
What? What? Oh yes. Oh yes. I'm here for it. Miss Irina Devereaux, I'm here for it. Well, I want to talk to you a little bit more, and I'm going to bring you back a little bit later.
Right?
But thank you so much for that story. Again, it really speaks to that in between zone that a lot of queer people are dealing with. So thank you for mentioning that and for being so honest and upfront. And I'm going to let you go for a minute. Get your drink ready because we're going to play some games later. Okay. All right.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Um, and so with that, everyone, I again thank you so much for that story, Miss Irina Devereaux. I'm just literally living right now. I can't. And my next guest is someone that I haven't had the chance to get very close to get to know very much. But I'm really excited to chat with them and get their story out to you all. With all that said, we're gonna have Nova Kane join us. Hi, hello.
Hi, how are
Um,
y'all?
good, good. Thank you for joining me today on the T. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Novocaine and I actually met briefly at a Providence event. I believe way back when you actually were in drag when I first met you. Um,
Yes,
at the Mirror Bar, and it was a fun, very fun night. I remember you did some sort of a Spanish number, or a Spanish sounding number, and it was like, okay, all right, I don't know who this person is, but I'm here for it. We exchanged highs and vibes, and then I believe that was pretty much it for the night. But I'm really glad to have you here today, and maybe chat a little bit, get some little tidbits in there. But tell the viewers a little bit about who you are and what you do.
yeah, absolutely. So my name is Virgilio. I also go by Novocaine, which is like my stage name. Um, I want to say professionally, I'm a medical case manager for a local health center or community health center in the Dorchester area in Boston, where I'm basically helping people living with HIV remain undetectable and get services within the community.
Love that. And tell me a little more. Come on. I
Um,
see I follow you on social media. I know you do more than that. This person
right.
is well versed with the makeup brush. Tell me, give it to me.
I mean, I be trying. So I started playing around with makeup, and then eventually led to my, I guess, exploration within drag. I want to say between 2018 and then the end of 2019, I started to like dabble more into drag and like try to come out, and that's when around the time that I met you at Mirabai. Um,
Yeah.
and I was doing a couple of digital drag shows. I want to say in like 2020, but then I kind of stopped as soon as like the pandemic wave came on and everything. But now I just play around with that
Oh,
makeup.
it's not
So
oh, unfortunately. I'm somewhat of a performer myself, and I remember I was like really getting used to being on the stage right when it happened. And I was like, no, I finally got my groove.
right, exactly. It's
But
always
yeah, I have
interesting.
been watching you on social media, creep, creep. But I see your
Oh,
evolution, and I really applaud you for that. Your makeup skills have been like phenomenal. I've seen the faces, even to the point where I'm not even gonna run. You've inspired me a lot to do more with my face as a boy, because you don't see a lot of male presenting people that will happily, gaily put on a face of makeup and look great and like live that truth. And I've seen a lot of that progression with you, and I've seen how your journey has been, and I'm really proud of you to say the least.
thank
Uh,
you. I greatly appreciate that.
yeah. And I know you probably do a lot more behind the scenes, of course, because we're all creatives at the end of the day. We got a lot going on.
Oh, I mean, most definitely. For the most part, that's just what I guess I've contained so far within my time and what I do. It's mostly just working. Sometimes I get offered to do like paid either modeling opportunities or paid like makeup opportunities. So those are
See,
my
I told you, I knew
side
it.
hustles.
I knew you had a little. Look at that side bag. I love it. We all know that I also do my fashion business, which is Taylor Neptune Incorporated. Plug, plug,
Mhm.
plug. Get your closet cleanups now, $55. Thank you. But yeah, that's been my passion project as long along with doing tea with Taylor, for shortly over a year now, and I'm really happy to be able to even like do that on the side. So I feel you.
Absolutely.
Uh,
And you've been doing amazing. It's always great to see like Black creatives, especially Black queer creatives, like doing such amazing work.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Let's get into it. Tell me a little bit about how it was for you. How did it unfold for you coming out? And I want to speak to your age as well, but I'm gonna let you do that because I think that's a really big portion of it.
Absolutely. So it's kind of funny because it's almost like around the same time that Irina Devereaux had explained when she had come out or Steven had come out. So going to the beginning, I was around 12 or 13. I remember I was on a car ride with my mom. I'd spent like literally, that was like the turning point in the period of my life where I started to feel like different feelings towards like male presenting people that I had never felt before, which was like bizarre. It's almost like a mind fuck for yourself because it's like you're taught your whole life that you're supposed to be attracted to women or a single binary type of people. And I had spent like a whole year just trying to watch like straight porn to try to get myself into it, like to sort of like psych myself out as if it's like a mental thing and not a biological thing. So I told my mom, I was like, "Oh, I think I'm attracted to men or like my friends in class or like my peers," and it was just pure randomness. I just had like the whole thought in my car ride home to my grandma's apartment, and she just like was hysterical. She didn't believe me. She was like bawling her eyes out and didn't speak to me the whole day. And for me, it felt like kind of impactful for me because that was like the strongest person in my life at the time that I had always looked up to. Like not even to any males in like my family or anything like that. Like she was like my role model, and I had never seen her once like cry or break down. So I apologized to her, and then I, remained closeted, but like openly had like engaged conversations with my mom because it was like my best friend. Like I didn't have any friends growing up or anything. I was like the loner kid that was also like extremely nerdy in school. So I would like my friend circle was just literally my books and then video games. I collected
I'm
so
just
many
30
video
kids,
games and
so
everything. And then I want to say I tried dating girls or women like when I was 21, and that was around the time that I had graduated from undergrad. I got my bachelor's in sociology at the time, and then did a year of that, but it wasn't for me, obviously. So I came out officially the following year to like my mom and my dad, and I was just like, you know, I can't deal with anymore just being just like hidden to myself and the world and everything. And that was also an interesting moment because it was almost like a relive of that experience where my mom was sort of in denial and she even proposed to me of going to like conversion therapy, which I told my parents at the time, like, it's pretty much illegal in most places here in Massachusetts, but let me prove you wrong and let me entertain your idea and let's go to see my doctor, which they know and are aware of. And luckily for me, I had the support of like my PCP, my primary care physician, and he basically told my parents, like, my doctor is 10 years older than my parents, and he's also like an immigrant or a former immigrant from another country, like from Guatemala, that came to over to here. So he basically told my parents, like,
to your story as well. We see a lot of similar things over the time period that I've been able to do coming out stories. We see a lot of similarities with a lot of POC stories about coming out. And a lot of times it's just kind of something that's swept under the rug. And it's unfortunate that a lot of POC families just don't acknowledge queerness, no matter how much you try to tell them. And then we end up, like very similar to my story, end up coming out multiple times. Finally having to confirm what I've been saying or what you've been saying multiple times. And it doesn't feel great, but it is, in my opinion, liberating. So I see you also have that similarity. That's pretty much it. I just noticed that similarity, and I'm glad that I've been able to do coming out stories like this because I hear these things and the struggle is not just one person. It's a mindset. and overcoming that, and you going to your mom first, that was probably, I think I did the same thing, and she was like, no, I don't believe it. You play football. I'm like, what? What does that mean? That was one of my solaces that I ran to, like Steven said earlier. So it was pretty funny that that was one of the things that that you also had to get thrown at you. And I was gonna say, how did you have to come out more than once? But you've already told me that. But what was the hardest thing that you had to overcome after coming out? Also, what year was that? Because you said finally in the previous year you had to reinstate your queerness. What year was that?
So let's see, when I was 14, oh my gosh, I'm trying to do my math right. So I'm 28 now. I'm gonna be 29 in August. Um, so when I was 14, I was probably it was probably 2011, 2012,
Okay.
something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were becoming a little more liberal as a country as a whole, with queerness and the LGBTQ. We still aren't where we need to be as a whole, if you ask me, as an economy, as a country. But it's okay. We're making strides. We're getting there. And yeah, 2011 was an interesting year. We're not
Yeah.
going to talk about the horse in the room when we talk about 2011, but it's okay.
I'm trying to get my math straight, and I'm like, no, wait. I remember I was in high school from 2006 to 2010, so it was around that time,
Okay.
2006.
All right. You got a little timeline going on there.
Right. I'm like,
Hey,
I can't get my math.
it feels like ages ago since these things have happened, and it's somewhat nice to be able to rehash that because again, I feel like it's empowering to see where you've come from, and if nothing else, we are a product of what the past has done for us. So that's where we all are, and that's the common ground we can find. Whether your coming out story was atrocious, whether it was great, again with rainbows and ponies, we can all say that we're right there in that middle ground together. So I'm going to actually bring back my guest from earlier, Mr. Stephen McGuire, aka Irina, and we're gonna, just chat a little bit. So let's come back. Let's bring him back if we can, please. Oh, hello. Welcome back, darling.
Hello.
I want to thank you again for that story, Novocaine. That's really in depth, and thank you for your honesty.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're both amazing, so thank you guys again for being here. Um,
I
don't
mean,
get too
yeah.
don't get too scared. The game is coming up soon. But yeah, did you guys hear the hot topic earlier in the show?
Yes.
Jaden Vieira is watching, and he also commented on the Donald Trump situation. He said he just wants me to know that he's my number one fan, which I love. Thank you, Jaden. But he heard that, he said Donald Trump is a shit stain, suing them from being banned after he encouraged what happened on January 6th. I'm pretty sure we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask my personal opinion, I think we just need to stop talking about him.
Seriously, I'm like, can I not?
The news needs to stop covering him, and we all need to just stop talking about him.
The problem is that I'm not going to say it's just this, but the Republican Party has nominated them as their somewhat go-to person, and he keeps popping up at these things, and so we have no choice but to acknowledge his presence, and it's annoying. I'm over it.
They can acknowledge him, but we don't have to.
Right, exactly. Like I said, this morning I'm watching the news like I tend to do, and it's a live stream, so I can't fast forward or rewind or anything. And his face popped up like 3 times. I'm like, give me some more coffee. Gosh. And Jaden also commented on the incident that's happening in Haiti. He said he heard one of the prime ministers was trying to change something in their law system, and the people of Haiti are pissed about it. So they're trying to not allow that person to get a space of power. I did hear that as well, Jaden. There were fires set ablaze in front of one of local government buildings and riots ensuing over this again struggle for power. Did you guys hear that story earlier?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's sad to hear that things like this still happening, and even more so in one of the poorest nations in the country in the world. Like, oh God, I don't think it could get any worse. It's really terrible.
Don't ever say that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Because
Don't
then, like
ever
I said,
say.
oh God, no. I take that back. You're so right. Thank you.
We had people saying that when they voted for Mr. Trumpy. So
Oh God, that was
Right.
predicted on The Simpsons. Just saying. Um, and did you want to say anything else about any of the hot topics? Either of you? Oh! I forgot one. So we have seen this before with other fashion designers, and you guys know I am the fashion guy, self-appointed, of course. Um, but I'm seeing a new trend that I'm really, really liking. Even confirmed it last night. I saw a few, maybe two people in skirts, two male-presenting people in skirts or kilts. And man skirts apparently are the new trend. They're coming back. Or they're being highlighted again this season. I follow a really well-known stylist named Mickey Boom, who makes his own line of kilts and skirts, and they're amazing. They're fire, not gonna lie. Catch me in a kilt soon. But there are other brands that are following suit, like Tom Brown and Louis Vuitton. I posted a few of the Louis Vuitton ones on my Instagram. What do you guys think? Am I seeing you in man skirt? Vogue actually covered this as well.
I mean, you will probably see me in anything. Like, I pretty much wear anything and everything. If you go to my account, like, there isn't anything that I haven't worn yet. Like, I've been in a dress. I've been in like a dress that has like, like a skirt situation, in a flowy one, and a gown. So
I
I'm
was sold
down.
when, first of all, when Jean Paul Gaultier did it in like 2009. No. I was sold then, but when Jaden Smith did it, and you guys know I have an affinity for Jaden Smith. If you don't know, you know now. If you know someone who knows Jaden Smith, I'm talking to you, Steven. Let him know I'm available. Yeah. Anywho,
I mean,
but
I consider myself in a kilt because I am a mutt and part of me is Irish.
that's true. You're Irish. Oh my gosh, it makes so much more sense for you to do it. Now you have to.
Um, but maybe it's just me. I wouldn't probably go out in public with a skirt, but that's just me.
Oh no, now you absolutely have to. Now we've made the correlation. Like, come on. Maybe Irina will do it. Let me talk to her.
Well,
Go get him.
Irina always goes out in either a skirt or a dress. So
That's true. That's true. But I mean, like a kilt, like a kilt.
well, I definitely would like to get a kilt, but I'm gonna probably when I get my kilt, we'll definitely get in my family colors.
Yes, please do. Please do. And Nova and I will follow suit.
Yes, that part.
Um, so we're gonna get into the game, guys. We're running a little bit behind, but it's okay. It's fine. Whatever. It's Friday. Everybody got anything to do? The rain just cleared up. Notice it cleared up just in time for tea, y'all. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna say that my powers are on point, but my powers are on point. I wore my crystals 3 days in a row. I don't know. I'm just whatever. It's fine. So the first game we're gonna play, we're gonna try and be quick about it. Is One Has to Go, and I think this is gonna be really interesting to get your points of views on this one. I tried to do a good mix up of things that you may know, so hopefully bear with me here. So One Has to Go. We all know how to play, right?
Mhm.
Okay, One Has to Go. I'm gonna start off with one that is, I mean, kind of difficult for me. I don't even know the answer, but we got Practical Magic, we got The Craft, and we got Hocus Pocus. One has to go. Let's start. Let's start with Nova.
I would have to say The Craft.
Oh
I just can't get rid of Hocus Pocus or Practical Magic.
my gosh! The real tea of the whole show. The Craft was so good. Are you kidding?
I mean, I enjoy all three of them, but I just can't get rid of Practical Magic.
I find you, Nova, from doing harm to yourself and anyone else. What do you think, Steven?
So I don't know anything about Practical Magic, so I would have to pick that one.
Okay, all right. That was, I believe,
Know
the
the
Nicole Kidman.
Of Hocus Pocus, obviously, I'm a drag queen.
I know. I was like, this is kind of hard for me. But I believe Practical Magic was Nicole Kidman, and I forget the other lead female actress, but she's very well known. It was around the same time period that Hocus Pocus came out. And if you guys that are watching remember who these actresses
I'm
are,
gonna drink on this one.
saved my life because I only remember Nicole Kidman. She had gorgeous straight red hair, and she was just giving it to me in that movie. All right, so this one may not be as hard for you, but one has to go. We got Miss Janet, Miss Jackson, if you nasty, Mariah, I don't know her, Carrie, and Whitney.
Why do you have to do this one?
Yeah.
So hard.
Let's start with you, Steven.
I would have to pick Mariah Carey.
I'm not surprised.
I mean, she has good songs, but I mean, the other two I can't replace.
I cannot. Mariah's still making a bag. I heard the other day she makes like something along like the lines of 500,000 every Christmas just because they play that one song that she can't even sing anymore.
Yeah.
All shade.
I mean, I'm not taking anything away. I'm not saying she's not a great performer or singer, but out of those three, I would have to say the other two are just up on a different level.
What about you, Nova? What do you think?
Oh my God. I mean, I don't want to throw away any of them, but if I were to pick, like, I would probably say Janet just because of the library of music between Mariah and Whitney.
Okay.
Like Janet is like the best choreographer and the best dancer. Like I will give her that. But like I wouldn't be affected if I didn't have to hear like the whisper songs anymore.
Oh man, of course that's the one you go to. But like Janet's she's got a collection of hits too about this thing. So you can't discount that. Like you said, she was one of the first really like bomb dancers or choreographers that we had in the music industry. Her and Paula was out there getting it for us.
And she can still make the same moves, and she's like pushing 60, so
it's crazy. I don't know about Paula. She popped a few too many. But one more. This one was actually really hard for me. One has to go. Mean Girls, Bridesmaid, Jawbreaker.
Oh my God. I mean,
right.
You want me to go first?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I just have to say Bridesmaids then, because that was like the last one. That was the last one. Jawbreaker was the original, and then Mean Girls was like the original.
Thank you.
So
Jawbreaker was the original. I was like, oh boy. And excuse me, what's her name? Paige, from Charmed. She was gorgeous the entire time in that like I just can't get over it. The pale skin, the hair, the outfits, the quintessentially 90s vibes that we got. I just can't get over it. And then of course a bitch choking on a jawbreaker. Steven, which one has to go? Which one can you live without?
I mean, only because I haven't seen it, would be Jawbreaker.
How very dare you clutch the pearls? No, but we're going to Steven's house right now. We're watching Jawbreaker immediately. That was so. I'm surprised. Oh, we got you on the older film. Oh,
you know what I'm not. You know what I'm.
I would say when it comes to like a lot of like the film stuff, I'm just not. I mean, I've watched certain things, and that's about it.
That's true. Sometimes you're just not exposed to certain things. Like you said, you didn't see Practical Magic.
Yeah, never seen it.
I go back to sometimes. Like, how did I miss this? when was this popular?
And so I had never even heard of it before until you mentioned it.
I'm gonna need you to Google it. Oh God.
Let's say I've got a couple things to watch.
I was stuck in Disney World for a long time. I had my VCR Disney tape. When they switched over to DVDs, I got all the Disney DVDs. I had crates and
That's
crates.
all we watched.
That's all I watched for a long time. Disney's Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella with Whitney Houston, and Brandy was my coming home from school, and I was in a good movie. Put that tape right in, rewind it 1,000 times. Yeah, I get it.
Person.
I definitely missed out on a lot of things watching Cinderella for the 1,800,000th time. so there's that. And we're gonna get to this next game. Oh, it's gonna be interesting. So this is the second time I've played this. And I'll give you some time to breathe and get your drinks and all that together while I explain the rules. So it's celebrity name fusion. And what happens is it's 3 names, right? Count it 3. 1, 2, 3. And the name of the first celebrity shares a name with the second celebrity, right? So, for example, I would give you clues to both of the celebrity names, and then you mash their names together because they share a name. So, for instance, I would say female rapper, The Jump Off, Brooklyn, mixed with social media influencer, family name starts with a K. So, Little Kim Kardashian. Get it? So the first clue was female rapper, The Jump Off, Brooklyn. The second set of clues was about Kardashian, family social media brand, Ray J influencer. So the names blend together like that. So Little Kim Kardashian would have been the answer for that.
All on you, Nova.
Oh boy. Oh boy. And we're gonna tally it up at the end and see who wins, and we shall see. We shall see. I think you'll be better than you think, Steven.
Right.
All right, the first one. You have to know who these people are. I hope you know who these people are because that'd be real crazy if you didn't. So the first set of clues. The first name is a Playboy model, old Playboy model, Baywatch, known for Baywatch and dating Tommy Lee. The second set of clues is a CNN news anchor, Blank 360.
Oh, okay.
And he's a silver fox. So the first to split out those what name that is the winner of this round.
Family Anderson Cooper.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. See, I told you, Steven. I told you.
I mean, I would say that was a really easy one. So.
See, I told you you'd be better at it than you thought. So that's 1 for Steven and goose eggs for Nova. All right, next. And there's only 4, so let's see the competitive edge. Okay, the first set of clues is only 1 clue because it's all I know about this person. Lead singer of Aerosmith. The second set of clues is Medea.
Oh, Steven Tyler Perry.
Yes, so good. That was. Were the gears turning? I saw that, Steven. I saw that.
You know what it was? It was the Aerosmith lead singer. I just couldn't put my name on him. I could see him.
I know. The other clue would have been the tongue, but I'm not sure that would have been received the way I was thinking. So.
I went to Kiss or something at that point.
True. Kiss was much more known for it. You're right. That's why I didn't say it. All right, so the next one, and it's a tie. I can't believe this. Oh my gosh. Let's get my smelling salt. The first set of clues. Culture Club. DJ. Gay. Big top hat. You know who it is. Lead singer of Culture Club. Second set of clues. Actor from Oceans 11, 12, and 13. Argo. You got the lead singer of Culture Club, a gay DJ. No? Wow. I stumped you both. Boy George Clooney. Right? Now it makes sense. You're like, oh, right.
I was thinking of Brad Pitt for a second. I'm like,
Oh, okay. He was just the only one that was attractive in the movie, but there were other people there, Steven. No, there was like too many of those movies too. Like I'm over
Fight
it.
Club, my favorite one.
I was like, how many more are you gonna put us through? All right, so this is the last one, and oh, actually, I have a tiebreaker. Just kidding. So this is number 4, and we're still 1-1. You ready? Okay. This one is the first set of clues is an actor, well known for King of Queens on syndicated TV. Also well known for being named Paul Blart. The second set of clues is an actor as well known for a lot of different movies, but one of the big ones is Pineapple Express. Has an adorable brother who looks just like him. And he thought, we all know who Paul Blart is. Come on.
I
Yeah.
know Paul Blart.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like Nova's response. He was like, yeah, damn it.
Is it Kevin James and then what's his face? It was James Franco too. And
Yes.
yes.
Oh, okay. It was right there. It was like word vomit. You're like, Kevin.
Yeah, because I'm like, is it Kevin James or is it Stephen James? Is it like James Franco?
That's funny. All right. Well, I mean, I could throw the last one at you just for shits and giggles before we go. What do you think? You guys want one more?
Sure.
All right. It's a tie. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So this one should be pretty easy. So for both set of the clues, they're both singers. So I'm gonna give you a title of one of their songs. The first person, I Believe I Can Fly. The second person is Miss Independent.
R. Kelly, Neo.
Close.
Oh,
The second one is the singer of Miss Independent. Because of you.
uh, R.
Really?
Kelly Clarkson. R. Kelly Clarkson.
Yes, there you go. I'm like, come on, you know this. Oh man. Well, apparently we have a winner. Clap, 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 clap. Nova taking it home for us with 3, and Steven bringing it in with the 1. It's all right. It's all right. Okay.
I got the easy one.
You got the easy one. It's all right. I saw the gears turning for the rest of them now. Like I saw it. I saw it happen.
I would know one. I just wouldn't know the other one. I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't know that.
That's the strategy, if I'm not mistaken. They were just like, let me spit the first name out, and then the second one will come. Am I wrong? I see you. No, but that was fun. I'm glad that I got to play that for the second time, and you knew for somewhat who I was talking about. I only know about like this many celebrities, so I had to pick from the few that I know. It's a lot of old references. Good lord.
Oh, it's like being at like when I used to go play trivia over at Maribar, and they got to like the rounds with like celebrities, and I'm like, I don't know them that well. Like I don't idolize them. I don't follow them. I don't follow E-News.
Trivia nights in general is one of my biggest fears. I am frightened to do anyone's trivia night. No, thank you.
Give me sports trivia and I'll kill it.
I don't know. I know all these useless little bits of information, but it never translates to trivia. And I'm always the one that's sitting there like, yikes, I have an associate's level of education and I feel like I'm in middle school.
I went to drink.
You know what? Cheers to trivia night. I will not be there, but cheers to that. So, even though Nova, you won, and I know you're in the Massachusetts area, but I'm going to have two mugs, two tea with Taylor mugs for made up for each of you. And I'll have that sent to you. Send me your information, I'll send it to you, or maybe next time you're in Providence, we can meet and I'll have that for you. As the true winner of the game, I'll have that for you. And then, of course, Miss Irina or Steven, I'll have two made up for you as well.
Awesome.
I want to invite
Before we go,
any of you guys that want to check out the Imperial Court.
yeah.
I'm trying to get everybody on board. Like, I don't care who it is. Everybody come on board because we want to do some really great things this year. But August 1st, we have our ICRI first ever picnic and beach day.
Okay. Oh, nice. Yes. Let me know. Create the event on Facebook. I will join so that it reminds me of the day. Yep. I'm terrible with dates. But speaking on that, before we go, was there anything you wanted to leave with the viewers today? Anything you wanted to promote?
For me, no. Like if you're living in the Massachusetts area and you are newly positive with HIV and you need resources or you feel like you're hopeless or need help, please hit me up because I work within the Ryan Wright program and I can connect you with different services like that, or even like PrEP, or if you know someone that's interested in PrEP, swing them my way.
That's really important. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Works in the Massachusetts area, also in healthcare. She teaches sexual preparation and things along that line for a like sort of YMCA kind of organization. So I've always held that to a high esteem. So thank you for what you do. What are your socials that people can reach you at?
So for me, it's basically facebook.com/Novocaine official or Novocaine drag, I think. Instagram, Novocaine official. Those are basically my socials.
Okay, all right, Novocaine official. I follow both, so I should know that, but I wanted you to shout yourself out. And then how about for you, Steven?
So I guess I'll go through the rundown a little bit. So coming up on the 16th of July, we have the One Night, One Purple Promise event over at the Skyline, which past Emperors Tom LaValle and Scott Connery are going to be hosting. After that, we have another Empress's Review over at Mirabar on the 31st. The guests for the evening are going to be myself, Visa Decline, and Violet, which should be a really fun night. Again, that's a more of a party type atmosphere with drag performances thrown in every half hour.
Okay.
Then we've got the picnic coming up on the 1st of August. On the 13th of August, we've got a Monster Mash block party that's happening over at Dark Lady.
Oh my gosh, you need to keep me abreast with that. If you need another performer for the roster, just let me know. I'm gonna have to get my.
I'm gonna be hitting you up for performances coming up.
I will get ready. Oh my god, yes, that sounds like so much fun.
And then August is kind of chock full of things. Just because it's the same as Nova, it's my birthday month, so we're kind of chock full with things in August. We've got the back to school drive that's going to be going on throughout the month. We have really the Luau and the Lanai that we're bringing back over at be hosting over at Ginger Rail's house by the pool.
Ooh, yes. I need to get my legs out a little bit more so that I'm all one shade. So let me know. I'll bring my short shorts.
All right.
Anything else?
Review is coming up in August again. That's going to be a monthly show. So every month at the end of the month, we're going to be doing that. And then I'll be up actually in Boston on July 25th for their Christmas in July event.
Okay.
I believe is at Jake's.
I almost forgot about that. Well, what are your socials so that we can all reach you for checking in on these events?
Yeah, so you can you can reach me at Irina Devereaux on Facebook, I have an Instagram. I don't really use it.
Okay.
It's there though, so people can tag me in there, I guess.
It's there, exactly.
I don't do Twitter.
Unfortunately, I do. I was forced to do Twitter.
Yeah, and you can also reach the Imperial Court. You can reach me at the Imperial Court of Rhode Island at Providence, of course.
Gotcha. That's actually the way I was connected to you previously, was through the Imperial Court. And then I added you after I met you, or you added me, and it was great. I was like, oh my God, how did I not know this person? Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining me today again. I know I said that a lot, but I really do appreciate it so much. I'm glad to have gotten your stories out there for you and for the viewers. I hope and pray that it touches at least one person and helps at least one person who may be going through, a hard time, or a difficult time coming out, or just need some support. So now you know where to look. We've got a community representative in Massachusetts that you can look to. We got reigning empress, Miss Irina, that you can look to. And a lot of us share similar stories, like I said, and we're all in this together. Like I always like to say, make sure you're always being good to yourself. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more. Just make sure you're actually taking some time out for yourself, for your mental well-being, and to assert how you may be feeling. And a lot of us are going through a lot of different things, a lot of different turmoil in our lives, and it's not always peachy keen. But being good to yourself, what I mean by that is acknowledging that it's not always good, and making sure that you put yourself first and acknowledge how you feel and treat yourself kindly, because the world is going to treat you poorly enough. Don't do that to yourself. It's a disservice. And I really want to make sure that, people that are watching and anyone under the sound of my voice just knows how to take care of themselves and to be good to them. So with that, I'm going to leave you and give you the rest of your Friday evening. TBD, I don't know where I'll be tonight. I don't know what's happening, but something fun may happen, and you may see my face pop up in some sort of environment. I don't know. But thank you all for watching. I really hope, again, that touched at least one person. And I will be back here Friday at 4 next week. Catch Tea with Taylor every Friday. Until that's TBD too, until further notice. But thank you guys for watching, and I will leave you there. Have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Thank